Welcome to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. As Craig LeBlanc from the Daily Parks and Recreation Show says, parks and recreation aren't just spaces, they're the soul of our communities. Across America, parks provide more than just a scenic escape. They're places where people connect, stay active, and create lasting memories. Parks promote physical health with trails, sports fields, and playgrounds while boosting mental well-being through the calming effects of nature. Recreation programs bring communities together, offering everything from fitness classes to cultural events. And as Craig often highlights, parks also play a key role in protecting the environment and driving local economies by attracting visitors and increasing property values. Whether it's a family picnic, a weekend hike, or simply enjoying the outdoors, parks and recreation are where life happens. Want to dive deeper into the stories behind America's parks? Tune in to the Daily Parks and Recreation Show with Craig LeBlanc for inspiring insights, tips, and updates about the spaces that bring us all together.
All right, we're back live with Greg McMichael, a former pitcher, quite a long time, 8 years with the Atlanta Braves, and now here at the Alabama Parks and Recreation annual convention. You never know who you're going to meet over here. And so, again, this is Craig LeBlanc with the Daily Parks and Rec Show, bringing all the attendees here. It's how's the show going for y'all, or at least the association? Is this your first time at this?
No, this is our second time. We were at Orange Beach last year.
Oh man,
yeah, this is a great group.
Beach.
Yeah,
That's not a convention. That's a vacation.
Well, it is the winter time, so even in the Panhandle, it's not that great.
That's true.
No, this has been a great group. Natalie and Steve Brown, who with ARPA, we've gotten to know them. They've helped us kind of launch our league in the state of Alabama, Braves Country Baseball and Softball. And so it's been a lot of fun getting to know these folks and sharing our vision for what our league's going to look like and really kind of just spreading the word.
Man, yeah, it's a great association. Natalie does a great job with this one. This was the first ever state association I've ever attended. Of all the other ones that I've been through, this is still I call this one my home association.
Yeah,
from New Orleans originally, but
Yeah, no, it's a good group, and we've it's been fun getting to know them over the last couple of years. They've been all in and helping us kind of promote what we're doing, and it's been a good partnership.
Yeah. All right, so let's go all the way back into your earliest time into baseball. So you started obviously very young. And
I did playing for my community. Yeah, back in Knoxville, Cedar Bluff Farragut Optimist Club, and played for my community, played Little League baseball, and that was kind of the thing to do. We really didn't start travel ball till we were, 13, 14 years old. But before 12, which is really one of the big things that we're promoting, is to really play for your community up until, you get to be about 13. Then it's time to, if you're passionate about it and you're ready to take it to the next level and start investigating travel ball. But, the Braves are really proponents of being involved in your community and not starting that process too young. And that's what we all did. So growing up in Knoxville and had friends that we went and hung out at the park. My dad coached, and, typically what you would hear, not nowadays as much, but back then that was pretty much how we all started.
Did you play any other sports or just baseball?
Played it all: football, basketball, baseball, ran track, swam competitively, played tennis. I did everything. So if they were giving out trophies, that was pretty much where I was kind of locked in.
Now, why is that important to have a diversity of different sports as opposed to just being one sport all the time?
Well, it's very, very important because you can learn so many things from different sports. And it's a shame. I live live in Atlanta, working for the Braves, and there's so many people there. The competition is really tough. And then we're forcing kids to start picking a sport too early. And it's a shame because there's so many things that can happen when you just play one sport. Your body is not, when you're young, your body's not meant to throw a baseball 365 days a year, right? Yeah. You need a break. Your mind needs to break. You don't need to be training, going to camps, playing 3 seasons. You need those other sports that can help you not only teach you another skill like football does or basketball, but just kind of keep the fires going until you decide your talent kind of moves you in a certain direction. Either that's no direction at all, because maybe you're not good enough to play sports long term, but you can still learn so much. And there's so many things kids miss out on. And I feel for parents nowadays, because they really are caught, between when they get to high school and they're told their kid has to pick a sport when he's 7th, 8th grade, and they don't get the chance to try other things. And it's a shame. I wish it wasn't that true, but it's more and more of the story.
Now, did you have a favorite sport in high
I love
school?
basketball, but at some point I realized I was a little short.
Yeah.
And no, I was diagnosed with a rare cartilage disease when I was 13, and I went from doing everything to doing nothing. And they told me I'd never play sports again. And I started having surgeries in 8th grade. And so for 3 years, I didn't do anything. And so when I came back, I told the doctor, I said, listen, I've got to do something. This is not healthy for me. I'm miserable. And I figured, what's the easiest thing I could do? And I thought maybe I could pitch. And pitching would be the least amount of impact on my joints. So I started pitching, and next thing you know, I pitched in my sophomore year, pitched my junior year, and ended up getting a full ride to the University of Tennessee my senior year in high school, and then ended up playing 3 years, getting drafted by the Cleveland Indians, and went on to play 13 and a half years and professionally.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now, how was your time at University of Tennessee?
Tennessee was it was really hard.
How so?
I was terrible, and I was getting dog cussed off the field every game I pitched my freshman year, and but that didn't bother me. I had tough coaches growing up, but here it wasn't. It's not real. Football, they have 185 to 100 scholarships. Baseball, you only get 10 and a half.
Really?
And so if you had a full ride, there was a lot expected of you. Yeah. And so I did not meet those expectations. And so my whole freshman year was just a huge learning curve. When I came back my sophomore year, I got better. My junior year, I kind of put it all together and then I really took off from there. But it was really, really difficult. I went from a small high school to the SEC, and I just get lit up by like a Christmas tree, and it was hard, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I really had to decide, was I going to keep this? Was I going to let my failure keep me from my dream of playing baseball? And ultimately I figured it out.
So often it seems like we expect that unless we're just winning, then we just need to quit. And there's something else that we need to do, but that
you don't learn anything from winning. I mean, winning's
let's talk
easy.
More about that.
Winning's easy. You can be a bad winner and you can be a bad loser, but ultimately you learn everything from your failures. In business, I've learned all my good stuff from failing. From as an athlete, the days I got waxed, that's when I learned the most. Not initially, you're emotional, right? It's tough, but after the next day, you kind of go back and you got to analyze, what was it that didn't allow me to execute? What was it that didn't allow me to be successful on the day? Sometimes it can just be one of those days, but a lot of times there's something to it that you can pull out of that you did wrong. And so I always say winning's easy.
Was there ever a moment where you went from being emotional about your failures and losses to becoming a student inside of your losses? Was that like
that's a great question. I think as you grow in anything that you do, the best thing you can do is be more analytical about, and less emotional. It's kind of difficult, but I do specifically remember a time in the minor leagues I was having so much success that one thing I didn't see coming was my fear of success, because when I was with the Cleveland Indians, I was literally one phone call away from going to the big leagues, and I knew I wasn't ready, and I panicked because I knew that call could come because I was doing so well. And
where's
then
that panic come from?
I think it's
like
just
imposter syndrome.
Fear, the fear that you're really not that good. So I had to kind of grapple with that, because I ended up getting hurt again with my knees. The Indians ended up releasing me because they knew my history, and they said, you need to retire. Your knees are, I ended up having another surgery in the minor leagues. And so I basically started over from scratch with the Braves, and I went from AAA back down to A-ball, and I had to kind of reinvent myself, and I had to get healthy first, but then I had to work through all those things that had happened. emotionally, about success, and then about failure, and then about maybe not having a career because I got hurt again. So all those things, I kind of took to the Lord, and my wife and I prayed and about it. And I was just so close of quitting. And I remember walking into I was playing with the Durham Bulls and A-ball. I remember walking in to the manager's office and saying, "Hey, I'm going to hang it up." And my scout showed up and he said, "Hey, don't do it." He goes, "You'll regret it the rest of your life." And that was the turning point where I said, well, if that is going to be the case, this pain's got to go away. So as we prayed that God would take this pain away, it gave me some more time to kind of heal from the surgery. And that's where I learned my changeup. And that's what ultimately got me to the big leagues and becoming a closer with the Atlanta Braves and being a part of a World Series team in 1995. And we actually beat the Cleveland Indians in the World Series. So actually, I tell people a story that when the day that we after we won Game 6, I'm in the clubhouse popping champagne, and the doors to the field opened up, and in walked the guy who released me and told me to retire, and he shook my hand, said congratulations. So it's pretty. Wow. It wasn't like I was bitter or anything, because it's the best thing that ever happened to me. But it's just that it all came full circle. That emotionally and psychologically and physically, I had healed from all that, and I was better prepared for my career, and that's why I think I went up. I pitched for 8 years, and I never went back down to the minor leagues, because there were so many things that happened to me to prepare me for that moment that that once I got the big leagues, I'd already weathered everything. Yeah. I'd already gone through everything mentally and emotionally. So it was great times. It seems like a lifetime ago playing in the big leagues, but now being able to work for the Atlanta Braves, having a real heart for what I'm doing, not only on the alumni side, but also on the the Parks and Rec side.
Yeah. And so one last touch on this: weathering your storms. Why does it always seem to be, we say that statement, that was the best thing that ever happened to me? And typically, we're talking about some tragedy, some whatever.
Sure. Well, there again, I said it earlier, you don't learn anything from winning. You learn it all from the hard times, whether it's marriage or work or your life. I think that that's just those times where you have to understand who you are, what you're doing, what your goals are. All that stuff becomes at a very base level. You have to deal with it all. Whereas when you're winning, you don't think about anything. Like, man, that was great, let's do some more. But when you have to reevaluate every aspect of your life, that only happens when you meet failure.
Right.
So I think that's why it's just not a saying, it's a reality.
Right.
And I've got 6 kids. I tell my kids about that. My wife and I talk about that. Some of the hardest times in our marriage is where we really learn to love each other the most. And we appreciate today going through some of those tough times. So, so it is a real thing. And I think if anybody has lived life, just a few days, they realize life is hard.
Yeah. Just to let anyone know, it's hard for all of us.
That's right.
You're not special if life is hard.
That's right. That's right.
Welcome to the club. All right. So let's talk about this Braves country. Where did that idea come from?
Yeah. So Braves country baseball and softball, we are a league that's across the Southeast, only in Braves country. So the Atlanta Braves, we decided we had been involved in multiple aspects of amateur market. My role is part of growing the game. And we're looking not only to grow our brand, but really how can we dig into communities to help them grow the game of baseball, the love for the game, how to play it better, and how do we give back to our fans. So what I really appreciate about what our leadership has allowed me to do is that we can go to communities. So we're here at the ARPA convention because we're going into the state of Alabama, and we're investing in local parks and rec with clinics, with our league, with our name. We get to co-brand with different parks. They get to use our logos, and they're known as a Braves country baseball and softball park. Wow. So it's a real thing. We are trying to help them not only bring prestige back to the parks and rec level, try to keep kids from going to travel ball too soon, because we think we've seen the the devastation that's been happening, not only physically to our kids, but just to families who are traveling and spending $3,000 a year as opposed to $300. We've seen that you can only build community by being around people for longer periods of time. Right. A lot of travel ball teams bring in kids just for one season and they disband, they go to another team. I think it's really hard to have community that way. And I think that growing up, that's one thing I really appreciated about playing ball with my friends. And I knew the families, they knew my family, I knew their kids. So we want to dig into that. The Atlanta Braves know that that's important and that is a really good thing to do. And these are our fans, so we have a vested interest. We also feel like that we're experts in the field, right? We know the game of baseball.
I would think so.
Yeah. So we want to share that expertise. So we're doing clinics around the
local
Southeast.
Expert.
That's right. That's right. And we want to partner with our communities. And so I can't think of a better way to do that than through the game of baseball and softball.
Yeah, great idea. And so how many communities have y'all got? And this all recently just started, last year?
This is our second year. So yeah. We're in year 2. Last year we had 100 unique parks. And we'll be roughly around that. More, I think last year was a mad dash because anytime you kick off something for the first time, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So even though we had 100 parks, not all the all-star teams played with us. So this year we want to keep in the same 100 parks, but we're trying to make sure that the all-star teams know how to play and, how to engage in our trek to Atlanta, which is where the championships will be. So we're not only just, bringing our brand to the communities, but we're also helping them raise money. Last year, we raised over $100,000 for the 10 parks that actually took us up on it. We have way more money that we can share and then we can help them fundraise, but they have to take advantage of it. So that's one aspect of it. We also have, we partner with a company called Good Sport where we have donated equipment where they can apply for grants for baseball and softball equipment. That's something we're really proud of, working with our foundation. We're doing that across all 6 states. And of course, that's our footprint, right? North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, and Mississippi. So it is truly a Southeast region footprint. All those people are playing in the park level, and then they can advance to the regions and the state, and then the winners from the state come to Atlanta for the championships. We had two teams from Alabama win this past year. Muscle Shoals was one of them on the baseball side.
When did Enterprise come in? Was that
Enterprise? Oh, that's right. Enterprise, I think, won 12 years old. And they won the 12-year-old championship. So we had, I think it was 1 softball and two baseball ones. So pretty exciting for Alabama. And we got to be a part of it. And I tell you what, our leadership is so excited because they saw the impact that it made and the feedback that we got. And, of course, what we've seen around North Metro doesn't always tell the tale, right? Because we're kind of in a little bit of a bubble, but just getting out in the other states, it's been a lot of fun meeting people who love the Braves, love the game of baseball and softball, and just saying, hey, we want to bring something to your park. And so we're in Enterprise in the fall. We did a big clinic and just had a tremendous response and got to meet a lot of neat people.
Yeah, fantastic. We all are doing some great work, investing in the communities. I think that's where it all starts. And that's kind of what the Braves want to do. That's right. The whole purpose is invest in the communities. These are our fans. These are our future players. And of course, I love how y'all are noticing, hey, we don't want to hurt the little kids along the journey, and that a lot of kids will get burnt out if they do this travel ball. So I love the message.
They can. Yeah. I mean, it's not for everybody. I just don't want people to feel like that's the only course.
Sure.
Right. That you're still a great opportunity to play the game of baseball and softball at the community level. There's so many positive things about it. And I think parents can sometimes feel a lot of fear because of missing out. That, okay, I didn't provide for my kids because I didn't get them on this travel team or that travel team. And I think there's a lot of mixed messages out there. And I think the Braves are trying to put a stake in the ground and say, listen, you're doing the right thing. Invest in your kids long-term, build your community, have dinners together at home, right? Yeah. Don't have to be traveling all over the Southeast to play baseball. Don't have to spend all that money. Wait, build up, see where they are, and then at 13, 14, maybe then it's time to take them to the next level. But we really want communities to re-engage and to help them fight the urge that they have to go do something like that. It's just not the only path.
Yeah. Well, man, I really appreciate all that
Yeah.
work y'all are doing.
Thank you.
Y'all are the only team that does this or similar?
Right now, yeah.
Man,
so
we're really
we're
leading the charge.
yeah, that's and you'd asked me earlier how it all started. Really, Chad Parker, who works with me, we got together about 25 park presidents about a year and a half ago, maybe a little bit longer. Yeah, a year and a half ago. And we just asked them, what would you like to see from the Braves? What do you think? How can we help you guys in your communities? We were just thinking about maybe we could help. We weren't really thinking about a league, and they're the ones that stood up and said, we think you need to start a league. We think you need to help us bring some sanity back to this marketplace. And we think you guys are the brand to do it. And here's how. So as I thought, that is crazy. How in the world would I do that? How am I going to pitch that to my boss about, hey, I want to start something like Little League? And but anyway, the more we thought about it, the more it made sense. We had kind of dabbled around it. Yeah. But this would be sinking your teeth into it and really it'd be making a major investment and really make it the focal point for growing the game. Yeah. And now that we've done it, I couldn't think of a better place to be.
Yeah, I really hope a lot of the other brands are listening and watching y'all's lead and kind of do the same, because
I appreciate it.
Y'all doing something really good. Well, Greg, thank you so much for coming on
Craig.
the show.
Yeah,
appreciate
you got it. All right, best of luck.
Take care.
Welcome to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. Today, we'll discuss how parks and recreation improve the well-being of our communities. These spaces promote healthy living, foster connections, and support local economies. Parks encourage active lifestyles by offering areas for walking, running, and cycling, while also improving mental health by reducing stress and boosting mood. They also strengthen communities by providing gathering spaces for local events, social interactions, and recreational programs. Economically, parks contribute over $140 billion annually. They support businesses, create jobs, and even raise property values, benefiting both the community and local economy. Parks are accessible to everyone, with inclusive programs for all ages and abilities, ensuring everyone can enjoy these spaces. You can help support parks by volunteering, donating, or simply visiting. Every action ensures parks thrive for future generations. Thank you for watching the Daily Parks and Rec Show. Follow us for more insights on how parks enhance our communities.